What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to give you a complete step-by-step guide for how to burn fat with an intermittent fasting diet plan. I'm going to show you not only what to eat, but exactly how much of it you need to eat for your particular body to burn a whole bunch of fat, lose some weight, and build some lean muscle mass. So this is going to be a completely customizable intermittent fasting meal plan that'll break up any confusion you have about the entire intermittent fasting topic. In fact, this video is a complete guide, so after watching this whole video, you won't need to watch a single other video about intermittent fasting because this will teach you exactly how to do it step by step for yourself for free. If you'd like to thank me, just subscribe at the end of this video. Let's jump right into the kitchen and get started. Alright guys, for the first meal, we're going to have eggs. With my diet plan, I chose to have 2 meals a day. I'm going to show you how you could choose exactly how many you're going to have. But one of my meals, my very first meal, is going to have eggs. Then it's going to have Ezekiel bread. Okay, so this is just a live grain bread. It's also going to have PB2. Okay, so powdered peanut butter that you add water to. Has significantly less fat in here than regular peanut butter. And lastly, for my vegetable, for that first meal, I'm going to have broccoli. And what I'm going to make out of this is going to be French toast, believe it or not. Very healthy, low-calorie French toast. Then for my second meal, I'm going to have yams. Okay, so I want about 10 ounces of yams, which I definitely know that I have here. I'm also going to have wild-caught salmon. This is salmon in a can. You could obviously get it fresh, but I got it in a can because it's cheaper and it actually has lower fat. Fage, total whole milk Greek yogurt. Okay, so this is high in fat. 11 grams of fat right there. Green beans for my vegetables for this meal. Green onion as a topping for the potatoes. Parmesan cheese, we're going to use these to top the potatoes as well. And intermittent fasting is known for you to be able to eat foods that you actually enjoy. And we're going to incorporate some ice cream into the diet plan. Now guys, I know that this looks like, what the hell, like how is it possible to lose weight? I promise you guys, I'm going to show you exactly how to incorporate this into your diet plan right now in a way that you can actually lose weight, burn fat, and even build muscle. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you exactly how to incorporate this into your diet plan on my computer right now. I'm going to show you guys how you can customize your very own intermittent fasting diet plan. This way you guys don't need anything else. This is all you guys need, okay? So just follow me to my computer. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you exactly how to calculate your particular macros and your calories so you can create the diet plan all by yourself for free. But first, I want to just have you understand exactly what intermittent fasting is all about. There's a couple different diet approaches. There's lean gains, where you're going to be having 2 to 3 meals per day, and you're doing a 16-hour fast. That means for 16 hours you're not eating anything, and for 8 hours you're eating. Warrior diet, 1 to 2 meals a day, 20-hour fast, and 4-hour feeding window. So in that 4-hour feeding window, you could have a meal every 2 hours, and then you'd go back to fasting. Or you could just have 1 meal for the day, although that would be more of OMAD, so 1 meal a day. Next, we have 5-2 diet. Okay, so 5 days more free eating, where you're able to eat kind of loosely, and 2 days very low calorie. And those 2 days we want to keep calories extremely low, almost like we're completely fasting the full 24 hours during those days. Now, out of all of these, there's so many more, and you could think of any kind of variation that you want. Keep in mind that this type of dieting is supposed to be flexible, not rigid. Now, the most common one that people go with is the 8-hour feeding window, the lean gains. Okay, so the 16-hour fast and the 8-hour feeding window. And that's the one that I'm going to show you guys how to structure today. So we also have different templates, and I know that this might be sounding confusing, guys. Don't worry, you're going to understand everything by the time I'm done with this video. Okay, so this is a balanced template. So this is just how you're splitting up your calories. Here we're going with an 8-hour feeding window, 3 meals a day. The balanced template, 12 to 2 is 1 meal, 3 to 6 is another meal, 6 to 9 p.m. is another one of your meals. And you could structure it however you want. Just make sure your feeding window is only 8 hours. So if you're going for your first meal at 1 o'clock, you have to have your last meal by 9 o'clock. If you're going for 12 o'clock your first meal, last meal has to be by 8. Okay, next we have the dinner lover. So the difference here is that we got 30% of the calories from meal 1, and then only 20 for meal 2, and then we save 50% of the calories for dinner. Then we got the breakfast lover. Let's say you're a really big fan of that first meal in the day. Again, 12 to 2. And also, guys, keep in mind, you could start your first meal at 10 and have your last meal by 6. That's totally fine. But here we have 60% of the calories for breakfast, 15% for meal 2, and 25% for meal 3. Again, guys, you can structure this however you want. And then we got the dinner fiend. This guy just wants to have 2 meals a day. This is how I like to structure my day. And we can also do the same thing in reverse for breakfast. and that would be 70% of the calories for breakfast and 30% of the calories for dinner. Again, you guys can do 80%, 20, 10, 90, 100% in one meal, however you guys want. This video, I'm going to show you guys how to go after this one, the dinner fiend, okay? So the person that loves dinner, because I know that's a lot of people. So let me show you exactly how to calculate those macros. So here I've entered in my stats, right? You go in here, enter in your own stats, click fat loss. It's going to take you to a page like this where it's going to tell you exactly how many calories you're allowed to have per day for maintenance. And then also down here is where you're going to choose your macronutrient split. So you can pick any one of these, okay? Whichever one you want. And really with intermittent fasting, you can do a paleo intermittent fasting diet. You could do a ketogenic intermittent fasting diet or an Atkins, okay? You can do that. Intermittent fasting is more so about what times you're eating, whereas this is telling you what macros and what amounts of macros you're eating. So we're going to go for a very balanced split, 30% protein, 40% carbs, and 30% fats. Again, you can go for any one of these, whichever one you want to go for, but we're going for this one for this video. Here for fast fat loss, which is what's recommended, you can go for super fast fat loss, but that's a little tougher. So we get 2,245 calories, 168 grams of protein, 224 grams of carbs, and 75 grams of fat. Now, I'm going to take this, so now I know that I'm only going to be having 2 meals a day. Again, you could have 3 if you want, and I'm going to have 30% of my calories for meal 1 and 70% for meal 2. So 50 grams of protein, that leaves me 67 grams of carbs and 22 grams of fat for meal 1. For meal 2, 118 grams of protein, 157 grams of carbs, and 53 grams of fat. All I did, I took 70% of each of these numbers right here, and then I took 30% of each of these numbers right here. Very simple stuff, guys. Then for meal 1, this is what I came up with. 3 slices of Ezekiel bread, 3 whole eggs, 7 tablespoons of PB2 specifically, that one has way less fat, 1 cup of broccoli, and the total for this meal is coming out to 51 grams of protein, 66.5 grams of carbs, and 21 grams of fat. So I came pretty close to my numbers that I was supposed to hit here. Keep in mind, you're not going to match it exactly, but this is pretty damn close, so this is good. And here, by the way, I'm making low-calorie French toast, which you guys definitely want to watch because it's delicious. Then for meal 2, I have 10 ounces of yams, 15 ounces, a 15-ounce can of salmon, a half a cup of Fage total plain Greek yogurt, 3 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, 1 cup of green beans, half a cup of green onion, and 1.5 cups of black cherry ice cream. And I know that sounds crazy, but I promise you guys can incorporate that in. In total, that gives me 115 grams of protein, 146 grams of carbs, and 53.5 grams of fat. And if you compare that number to what I was looking for, it comes pretty close. 115 grams of protein, I was looking for 118, 146, 157, so I'm under an extra half a gram of fat, which is going to be fine because I didn't have enough here. So as you can see, you have even less calories than you're supposed to have, even though you have the ice cream. Now keep in mind, if you can't finish the whole ice cream, that's fine. You're going to lose more weight by not finishing the whole ice cream. You're just not hitting your total carb numbers. Guys, before we actually cook the sweet potato, we want to make sure that it's got the right amount of weight. So we're looking for roughly 15 to 16 ounces uncooked, and this one's exactly 16 ounces uncooked. Perfect. You just take that off. Alright, so we're going to start with the hardest things to cook first. So I know that this yam is going to take a while. You can microwave these, but I prefer to do them in the oven because the microwave does have dangers associated with it. You guys should look that up. But you're going to just put a couple holes in it, and you're just going to put it into a baking sheet, and then we're just going to throw that into the oven at 450 degrees. And before I throw the yam in there, I'm going to actually throw a couple more things in there that we're going to put in the oven. So here's my broccoli that I already washed. That's going to be for my broccoli. This one's for the green beans. So my broccoli, I'm just going to break it up and throw it in there. I want about a cup. Now I could measure this in a measuring cup. I already know about how much a cup is. This is roughly a cup. It might be a little bit more, but with broccoli I'm not too concerned because it's only 30 calories per serving. So that's about a cup right there. Now for green beans, this is about a cup, which is what I'm looking for. These are already pre-washed, so I don't have to really worry about washing them. It's actually maybe a little bit more than a cup. I'm going to take a little bit away. Now I'm going to add in some garlic, some black pepper, and I'm also going to add in some vegetable magic. This already has salt in it, otherwise I would add salt. Now the last thing you're going to need to prevent everything from burning is some water. So you're just going to put a little bit of water in here. This will prevent it from burning. Also 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese, 1 for each of these. 1, 2. Cool. Now all I got to do with my hand, I'm just going to mix everything together. So now I'm just going to throw everything into the oven. Remember, we set it to 450. And the sweet potato. So guys, the sweet potato you probably want on top, and also definitely want to cook your sweet potato longer. So your sweet potato will probably take 60 minutes, whereas the broccoli and stuff will only take like 10 to 15 minutes. So now I can start working on my first meal. I'm going to start with my eggs. So I get 3 eggs. I'm going to take 2 of the eggs. I'm going to throw them in here, okay, because I want to show you guys 2 different ways that you guys can make this meal. Okay, so now I'm going to take my eggs, mix them up, and before you start this, you're going to want to defrost your Ezekiel bread. I'm having 3 slices. This is already defrosted. And then in here, I'm going to add in some cinnamon. I'm also going to add some salt and some garlic powder. Okay, and then I'm just going to mix it all together. So it's going to look something like that. Okay, so slide this aside. So now I'm going to take my PB2, okay, and I'm going to do 7 tablespoons like I showed you guys in my plan. So that's 1, 2, 6, 7. So with PB2, it'll give you exact instructions of how much water you need, but I just like to do it based on consistency. So you're just going to pour the water in there and then mix it together. Make sure that it's the right consistency. It looks like I got this perfect right now. Okay, so we're going to bring our frying pan on over and we're going to put it on a relatively high heat, at least in the beginning, to just heat up the frying pan. And while the frying pan's heating up, we're taking this PB2, and remember, we want to divide it in about 3, and that to me looks like about the right division. And we're just going to kind of spread this across an area. So you're thinking, how am I going to fit 2 pieces on here, right? So there you go, you have your PB2 down. Layer of that down, right? So guys, here we go. We have a layer of PB2 right there. We're going to take this mixture that we made, take our bread, put it in there. Make sure you get it covered in this, and then you just drop it right on top of the PB2. Do the same thing with another one. Take it just like this. Make sure you get it nice and drenched, and then throw it right on top of the PB2, right? And then for this last one, we're going to put our last egg in there. And guys, keep in mind, you could do all 3 of them the same way. I'm just trying to show you guys a couple of the options that you guys have. Like, it doesn't have to be boring when you're doing a diet plan. So that's an egg in a healthy nest. Can you believe that? A healthy nest. We just want to add some salt to that and a little bit of pepper. And that's it. Now we let that cook until it's time to flip it. You could just take the rest of this stuff and pour it on top. It'll only make it taste better, trust me. So we're going to cut up your green onions right now. Make sure that you wash them first. We're just going to cut them into small pieces. And guys, you're definitely going to want to keep an eye on this because it will cook faster than you think. They don't look super fancy, but trust me guys, this is delicious. I've made it before. So we're looking for about half a cup of onions. So that right there is about half a cup. Get this out of the way. The eggs are pretty much done, so I can just shut this off and plate it at this point. Guys, again, this isn't the prettiest looking meal, but I promise you it's going to taste delicious. Here's the egg in a nest. Cool. I'm also going to want to open and drain my can of pink salmon. Okay, make sure you drain it, and now I'm going to throw it into a bowl. Now crush it down with a fork, and you're just kind of trying to just mash it so it's like small parts. Some of the canned salmon comes with bones, this one didn't. If yours comes with bones, make sure you take them out first. We're also going to add in some magic salmon seasoning. Here I'm going to add in my green peppers. Now I could have cut these smaller, but you know, whatever. And I'm also going to add my half cup of Greek yogurt. Remember, you guys want this to be plain, unflavored Greek yogurt, full fat, and you want about half a cup. Okay, so that's about half a cup. And then we just want to take this and mix it all together. And by the way, it looks like our broccoli is done, so we can complete breakfast right now. We want the edges slightly crisp, so there we go. That's my first meal right there, all done. My green beans are actually also done, so I'm just gonna throw them in here. So now I'm just waiting on my sweet potato. Now guys, once your sweet potato is done, be careful because it's gonna be really hot. So we're just gonna take it and kind of create a base and plant it down, kind of push down. Then we're gonna cut it directly in half. So now we're gonna take this top half, turn it upside down, and again, plant it straight down. Now you want to take your spoon and you're going to scoop all this stuff out and throw it in here. Guys, you want to be super careful when doing this. If you scoop too much out, it's going to lose all of its shape and you're not going to be able to do much with it. So that's good enough right there. There we go. Okay, so now we have 2 shelled yams. I'm just going to move this aside. So now I really want to make sure that this gets mashed in there. And also, I'm going to add my last 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese that I'm allowed. And then once I mash all this up, I just mix it all together. So again, in here we have the green onions, we have the yams, we also have salmon, also we have magic salmon seasoning and Parmesan cheese. So we're just going to mix this really well, and then we bring back this meal and we stuff the sweet potato skins. And then you see you have all this left over, you just throw it in right here on the side. So So now we have plenty of carbs and calories left over, carbs and fats. So I'm going to show you guys the black cherry ice cream is what I'm going to have to fill up those extra carbs and fats that I'm allotted for the day. And guys, you can 100% do this. I get a cup and a half. So make sure that you actually measure it out, right? So that's about a cup and a half. Better safe than sorry, so you're better off going with less rather than more. That's about a half. So we're looking at about that much ice cream I get at the end of the day. So these are my meals for the entire day. I'm going to get all my carbs, all my protein, all my fat, and believe it or not, you can still 100% burn fat and lose weight eating these foods, even the ice cream. I promise you guys, this isn't something that I'm just making up. I've experimented with this on tons of clients. Okay guys, so in this meal right here, we got 3 slices of Ezekiel bread, 3 whole eggs, 7 tablespoons of PB2, and 1 cup of broccoli. That's going to give us a total of 51 grams of protein, 66 grams of carbs, and 21 grams of fat. So in meal number 2, we got 10 ounces of yams, a large 15-ounce can of salmon. We also got Parmesan cheese, 3 tablespoons. Well, we used one of them here, and one of them we used here. And then 1 cup of green beans, half a cup of green onions, and 1.5 cups of ice cream right here. That's 115 grams of protein, 146 grams of carbs, and 53.5 grams of fat. Now, guys, don't forget that you can customize yours however you want. If you want 5 meals, you can have 5 meals. If you want 3 meals, you could have 3 meals. If you want to eat once during the day and have 100% of your calories, like this whole thing, as one meal at the end of the day, you can do that. So that's it, guys. Obviously, you can see when you do intermittent fasting and you save 70% of your calories for dinner, you get quite a big dinner. It's the same thing with all your meals. They tend to be more full and you can enjoy your meals more. And also, you even have room for something like ice cream at the very end of the day, right? And I swear to you guys can definitely lose weight and burn fat eating this kind of food. Now, if you don't want to eat ice cream, nobody's making you eat ice cream. Just take it out of your diet plan. Use the exact method that I showed you guys of how to calculate your particular macros for your body for intermittent fasting. Use one of the templates that I showed you. Especially a good one to start with is a good balanced split, you know, like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then from there, just move on and try different kinds of approaches, like the warrior diet, which would only be 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day. And again, you guys can mess around and change up your window however you want. Intermittent fasting is supposed to be a flexible dieting plan. It's not supposed to be super rigid, okay? So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you know when I release new videos and new tips and tricks, okay? See you guys soon.